Today's journey begins about 7 miles away from the capital of the Czech Republic at Václav Havel Airport, Prague. Now I'm looking to fly home to London. Sadly, there's no direct flight today with CSA Czech Airlines, so my options were Ryanair, EasyJet, Wizz Air or BA. Of course, there's no contest for me. Let's head to Heathrow. Welcome to Edgington Airborne. Let's get going. Prague Airport uses 2 terminals for the majority of passenger flights, and British Airways operate from Terminal 1, which originally opened in 1968. As nothing much was open here, I decided to head straight to security and explore airside. Initial impressions of departures was good, with a nicely designed duty-free area after security, and I was eager to see what else the airport had to offer. But sadly, duty-free was by far the highlight. Terminal 1 departures certainly isn't going to win any design awards, and more importantly, very little was open, which was quite surprising considering the first flight departed in less than 30 minutes. An upstairs food court was available, but it wasn't the most enticing of places to eat. I'd say my school canteen was more appealing. But at least there was plenty of seating in the terminal. So that was a pretty quick and quite disappointing trip around Prague Airport. I'll talk a bit more about that at the end of the video. But as you can see behind me, there's an aircraft ready to go to London. So let's go and get on board. The A320neo that I'm on board is one of the newest aircraft in the British Airways fleet, and the airline has 25 of these jets on order in total. BA's Airbus fleet operate primarily on European routes such as my journey today, but of course when flying further afield, BA have a number of wide-body aircraft such as the iconic Boeing 747. We'll shortly take a look at the onboard experience, but firstly, how much does it cost to travel on this route? As with all of my flights, I booked directly with the airline, and British Airways offer a number of flights between Prague and London daily, with departures to both Heathrow and London City Airport. Like a number of carriers, BA offer various options when flying economy, and I chose the lowest fare class, which is economy basic. Anyway, what is a British Airways A320neo like? Well, the cabin seats up to 180 passengers, with business class at the front of the aircraft. The cabin itself is bright and modern, although has a more subtle design than the sky interior found on the Boeing 737. The overhead panel contains reading lights and air vents as you'd expect, and being so new, the cabin was in good condition overall. There are 2 rather cramped toilets at the back of the plane which had a few modern touches and were kept clean throughout the flight by the crew. Sadly, long gone are the days that British Airways offer free refreshments in economy on European flights, but there is a selection of buy-on-board items to choose from. Unfortunately for me, my choice of sandwich was unavailable, so instead I made short work of some M&S Jaffa cakes for breakfast. about halfway through the flight, so let's take this opportunity to look around the seat that you could find on board the British Airways Airbus A320neo. As I chose the basic fare, seat selection was chargeable when booking. Something to consider is that there are actually two types of seat on this aircraft. Rows 1 to 12 have the well-known pinnacle seat design, and further back you'll find the new slimline Recaro seat that I experienced, which will be familiar to those of you that have flown EasyJet recently. The Recaro seat features a small coat hook fixed to the rear of the seat in front of you. Further down, of course, is a tray table. I was a little surprised at how small the tray table was, and I expected more from a national airline. It does provide a small indentation to secure a drink, and one benefit is that it can be brought closer to you should you need it. As we look further down the seat, you'll find quite a large netted seat pocket, which does offer plenty of space for the literature that British Airways provide, such as the safety card, M&S onboard menu, the BA Business Life magazine, and of course the British Airways High Life magazine as well. Sadly, I was very disappointed by the legroom provided by British Airways. There was very little space and I was quite uncomfortable by the time I reached London. Thankfully, there is a positive to the new seat, which is the availability of USB power, definitely a plus when filming a flight review. And here you can see a better view of the new Recaro seat and the pinnacle design found at the front of the plane. Let me know in the comments which you prefer. The High Life magazine contains a range of articles to pass the time in flight. Of course, being the flying enthusiast that I am, I like to head for the route map and come up with ideas for future travels, and BA offer plenty of destinations to choose from. For passengers unfamiliar with London, British Airways also provides some very helpful information for your arrival in the UK and how to reach the city. And if you're looking for something to do whilst travelling from the airport to London, why not check out my social media accounts for updates on my travels and upcoming videos here on YouTube. So that's it, we're now approaching London Heathrow Airport. As always, stick around till the end of the video for my final thoughts on today's trip. For now, enjoy the landing.
To help us prepare for landing, please can you now gather all your personal belongings ready to be put away. If there's anything you no longer require, please hand this to your cabin crew who will be passing through the cabin shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the United Kingdom. The local time here in London is just approaching 20 past 8 in the morning.
So welcome to London Heathrow Airport. I'm just outside Terminal 3. This is the part of the video that I share with you my final thoughts on today's trip, and we'll get things started in Prague. I wasn't a fan of that airport. I'm really sorry if there are fans of Prague Airport on here, but it wasn't that impressive at all. The overall design of it for me was a little bit lacking, and more importantly, when I came through, only just over an hour before my flight was due to depart, everything was pretty much shut. The only thing really open was a food court that was, again, less than impressive. I'd also say that the security experience at Prague Airport was woeful. Undermanned, there wasn't enough equipment there, it took an absolute eternity, and there was only one flight, our flight, going through that particular area. Then we come to the aircraft and the flight itself. Now, I am a big fan of BA. I am very biased, I'm British, they're my national airline, so let's get that out of the way first of all. And I've only ever had great experience with British Airways in the past. This is my first time on board one of their A320neos, and the A320neo is an advancement and it's an improvement over the older aircraft. But BA somehow made it worse for the passengers. The seat that I had today was a low-cost seat, there's no doubt about it. It was poor legroom, wasn't the nicest of designs, and when you compare it to what it's replacing, it just seems a step in the wrong direction. Of course, I've flown with a lot of airlines recently, in particular Lufthansa and KLM. They're national airlines as well, and for me, they're frankly streets ahead of British Airways, and that's really disappointing for me as a British citizen that my national airline is simply falling behind, particularly in European routes anyway. There were some good points though. The cabin crew, as always British Airways, they are fantastic. They're very professional, very friendly. I had a chat to them at one point and it was really, really nice to speak to them. Also the flight deck, they kept us really well informed throughout the journey, and I always enjoy flying into Heathrow itself as well. Some of the views on approach were really nice, particularly when you could spot other aircraft in a holding pattern just near London. Yes, I would fly British Airways again. It wasn't a bad experience by any means today, but in all honesty, I wouldn't put it in the bracket of some of the major carriers in the world for a European flight. If this is the future British Airways, they really are heading down the low-cost route, which is quite sad. I do hope you enjoyed today's video nonetheless, despite me moaning a little bit there at the end. If you did like it, please do leave me a like below, and also leave me some feedback in the comments section, whether you agree with me or not. Of course, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel for future contents. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Of course, as always, take care.